People ask me all the time, Clara, what is it that you love so much about Laguna Beach? And honestly, I never know how to answer that question in just one sentence, because I don't think people fall in love with Laguna Beach because of one thing. It's not just because of the beaches. It's not just the weather. It's not just the homes. And it's not even just the views. I think people fall in love with Laguna Beach because of hundreds of little moments, small experiences, tiny shifts in perspective, unexpected routines, the kinds of things that slowly become woven into everyday life. And before you know it, you start realizing that your days feel different, your mornings feel different, Tuesday afternoon feels different. So today, if someone were to ask me why I love Laguna Beach, this is what I think I would tell them. Hi, I'm Clara Blanc with Anvil Real Estate. I hope people find not just homes, but the lifestyle that truly fits them here in Laguna Beach and the surrounding coastal communities. And today's video is a little different. I'm not going to talk about market statistics. I'm not going to show you listings. I'm not even going to compare neighborhoods. Instead, what we want to talk about are the little things. The things that people don't always notice when they're visiting for the weekend. The things that reveal themselves slowly, because I think that's where the magic of Laguna Beach really lives. Not in the particular moments, but in the ordinary moments that somehow become extraordinary. One of the things I would tell someone is, mornings feel different here. And I don't mean everyone wakes up happier. Life is still life, right? People still work. People still have responsibilities. Kids need to get to school. Emails still pile up. But there is something about waking up in Laguna Beach that feels gentler. Maybe it's the marine layer rolling in, like this morning. Maybe it's hearing birds instead of traffic. Maybe it's knowing the ocean is just a few minutes away. People often tell me they start walking more after moving here. And not just because they suddenly become fitness enthusiasts, but because walking feels enjoyable. Getting outside, a quick walk turns into 20 minutes. 20 minutes turns into an hour. And suddenly something that used to feel like exercise starts feeling like self-care. And I think that changes people, because when your day begins with beauty, it influences everything that comes after. Something I think happens in Laguna Beach is that people stop waiting. People stop waiting for vacations. People stop waiting for holidays. People stop waiting for retirement, because Laguna has a way of reminding people that beautiful moments don't have to be reserved for special occasions. You don't need a reason to go watch a sunset. You don't need a reason to walk through Heisler Park. You don't need a reason to sit with a coffee and look at the ocean. People begin realizing this is available every day and next week. And over time, they stop postponing joy. And I think that's one of the most valuable lessons a place can teach you. Another thing I love about Laguna Beach is the people begin noticing things they previously overlooked. They notice how the light changes throughout the day. They notice tides. They notice wildflowers blooming on trails. They notice pelicans flying overhead. They notice sunsets becoming more colorful in certain seasons. And they notice people noticing. Someone stops to take a picture. Someone pauses during a walk. Someone points toward dolphins offshore. And it reminds you that there is beauty happening all around us constantly. We simply don't always slow down enough to see it. However, Laguna encourages people to see it. People often ask me what my favorite place in Laguna Beach is. And honestly, I don't think most locals have one favorite place. They have many. A favorite coffee shop, a favorite trail, a favorite bench, a favorite cove, a favorite place to watch the sunset, a favorite restaurant, a favorite route to walk after dinner. All those places become deeply personal. They're not necessarily famous. They just are simply meaningful. And I think that's beautiful, because everything eventually in Laguna stops feeling like a destination and starts feeling like your town. I think one of the biggest surprises about Laguna Beach is how quickly extraordinary beauty becomes normal. At first, you photograph everything: the ocean, the sunsets, the flowers, the coastline, and then something interesting happens. You stop photographing it, not because it becomes less beautiful, but because it becomes part of your everyday life. You begin taking it for granted until someone visits and they remind you, they stop in awe, they comment on the colors, they can't believe what they're seeing. And suddenly you remember that what has become ordinary to you is still extraordinary. And I think it's a nice reminder, not just about Laguna, but about life. I think Laguna Beach quietly encourages healthier habits. People hike, people bike, people walk, people paddleboard, people swim, people practice yoga outdoors, people meet friends for walks instead of drinks, and none of it feels forced. It simply feels available. And when healthier choices become easier, people naturally gravitate toward them. And it's one of the reasons I think people often tell me they feel better after moving here. They don't necessarily change who they are. Their environment simply supports better routines. People often assume Laguna Beach is anonymous because it's famous, but I think the opposite is true. The longer people live here, the smaller it feels. You recognize faces. You know business owners. You see familiar people at coffee shops. You wave at your neighbors, and you begin participating in local events like the Pageant of the Masters. And slowly, Laguna transforms from a postcard into a community. And that sense of belonging matters, especially today. People want to feel connected. They want to feel rooted, and Laguna offers opportunities for that. Real quick, if Laguna Beach has been on your heart, and you're trying to figure out your next step, you don't have to do it alone. I hope people make thoughtful moves that fit their life, not just the numbers. If you want support, call or text me at 949-998-4866 or go to clarablunt.com, or you can email me at clara@anvilreinc.com. Now let's get back to it. And another thing I think happens in Laguna Beach is that people begin treating everyday rituals differently. Let's start with the most important for me. Let's take coffee, for example. For many people, coffee starts out as something practical. You grab it because you're tired. You drink it while driving. You rush through it between meetings. But here, coffee often becomes an experience. People sit down and they linger. They chat with friends. They bring a book. They work on a laptop for a while, or they simply sit outside and enjoy being where they are. Places like Wild Strawberry, Rapport Coffee Roasters, Zine Cafe, the Moon Goat aren't just coffee shops. They're gathering places, little anchors in people's weekly routines. And I think that's one of the subtle things Laguna Beach does really well. It encourages people to be present for ordinary moments, because sometimes it's not just the big experience that shape our happiness. It's the little rituals we repeat every day, and Laguna has a way of making those rituals feel meaningful. Another thing people don't always expect is that Laguna Beach has seasons, not in a traditional sense. We don't have snow and we don't have dramatic autumn leaves, but Laguna definitely has changes throughout the year. Summer feels energetic, the trolley is running, visitors arrive, restaurants are bustling, families are at the beach. There is a vibrant energy in town. Then fall arrives, the crowds thin out, the temperatures remain beautiful, trails become quieter, locals seem to reclaim the beaches. Winter has its own personality. Storms can make the ocean feel more powerful and dramatic. Sunsets become more colorful and vibrant. Mornings feel peaceful. The spring brings wildflowers, longer days, and that feeling that summer is slowly making its return. And I think people enjoy these subtle seasonal changes because they create variety. Laguna never feels stagnant. It keeps evolving, and residents evolve right along with it. One of my favorite things about living in a place like Laguna Beach is seeing it through someone else's eyes. Maybe a friend visits from out of town. Maybe family comes for the weekend, and suddenly you're reminded of what makes this place so extraordinary. They stop in the middle of a walk because they can't believe the view. They photograph flowers you've walked past 100 times. They get excited about seeing the dolphins. They talk about how beautiful the light looks at sunset. And in those moments, you remember that what has become routine for you is still remarkable. I think that's healthy because it helps us practice gratitude. It reminds us not to become numb to beauty. And Laguna Beach offers endless opportunities to remember how fortunate we are to experience this place like this. And perhaps one of the most interesting things I've observed is often people who leave Laguna Beach continue thinking about it. Sometimes they move away for work. Sometimes family responsibilities take them elsewhere. Sometimes life simply leads them down a different path. But Laguna tends to stay with people in their heart. Years later, they'll visit, walk the same streets, sit at the same beaches, watch another sunset, and suddenly they're reminded of how they felt when they lived here. Because certain places imprint themselves on us emotionally. And Laguna Beach is absolutely one of those places. It becomes tied to memories, milestones, relationships, different seasons of our lives. And I think that's why so many people eventually dream about returning, not because they're chasing perfection, but because they're reconnecting with a version of themselves that they really liked and felt safe and serenity with. One thing I notice over and over again is that people start valuing experiences more than possessions. People who once wanted the bigger house begin prioritizing location. People who once wanted more square footage begin prioritizing proximity to trails. People who once wanted a formal dining room begin to realize they'd rather eat outside. And I think that's fascinating because Laguna doesn't necessarily change people. It simply reminds them of what they value most. Now, with all of this said, Laguna isn't perfect. Traffic can be very frustrating. Parking can be challenging. Summer crowds are real. Millions of people come. Homes can be expensive. Some houses have quirks. Some streets are steep. And life here still comes with stress. But what fascinates me is people accept those inconveniences because the emotional return feels worth it. People don't stay because Laguna is easy. They stay because Laguna Beach makes life feel richer. People often think that they are buying a home when they move here. And of course they are, but I think they're buying something else too. I think they're buying mornings, walks, sunsets, experiences, permission to slow down, permission to spend more time outside, permission to stop waiting for vacations, permission to enjoy ordinary days. And honestly, I think that's one of the most valuable things anyone can invest in. So back to this question. If someone asked me, Clara, why do people love Laguna Beach? I don't think I would talk about real estate. I don't think I would talk about appreciation or inventory or square footage. I think I would simply say this. Laguna Beach reminds people that life doesn't have to be lived at full speed. It reminds people to look up, to notice beauty, to spend time outside, to connect with neighbors, to enjoy ordinary moments. And perhaps most importantly, it reminds people that the quality of our lives is often built from very small experiences repeated consistently over time. And Laguna Beach has a beautiful way of elevating those experiences. Another example is last week, there were huge swells at the beach at Brook Street, 8 to 10 feet. There were so many spectators watching the local surfers taking on those waves. And my son was one of those locals enjoying the waves and the swell 200 yards off of Second Reef, having a blast. And his best moment was when he came out of the water and said, I just broke my board. This is what Laguna is. It's just taking in that moment and just feeling enriched with the beauty of the water and everything else that offers. If you're remotely thinking about moving to Laguna Beach or simply wondering whether this lifestyle might feel right for you in your next chapter, I truly love to help guide you. You can find me at clara at reinc.com, 949-998-4866. And if you enjoyed this video, it would mean so much if you gave it a like, subscribe to the channel, and join me for more conversations about Laguna Beach neighborhoods, lifestyles, local insights, and what it's really like to live here. I'd also love to hear from you. What is one place that has changed the way you experience everyday life? Let me know in the comments below. I'm Clara Blanc with Anvil Real Estate, and I look forward to helping you find the right place that feels aligned.